The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewers, welcome to Chungu cha Jamii. I'm your host, Eunice Mugo. Today on the show, I'm privileged to be joined by two gentlemen who are going to help us to understand why we need to take care of our elderly parents. Our topic today is neglecting the elderly. Why are we neglecting the elderly? Why are we not taking care of them? What is the problem with our generation? What is the problem with our society, our government, our families? These are some of the questions that you are going to handle and to tackle and talk about with our guests. They are the best in their fields and they are going to share insights more. May you sit back, relax, and listen keenly and take notes so that you'll be able to help yourself and help your neighbors and the society at large. Welcome, guests.
Thank you. Thank you.
Could you introduce yourself?
My name is Elijah Mwega. I'm the founder, Karika. Karika is an acronym of Kenyan Aged People Require Information, Knowledge and Advancement. We are based in Lirota location, Lirota Satellite in Dagoretti South. And our organization vision is to see a society where older people enjoy life and dignity. Our mission is to inform, educate, and promote policies towards aging gracefully in our country. Thank you.
Welcome, Mr. Elijah, our guest.
Yeah, my name is Jack Muriungi, the founder for an organization called Imarisha Jamii, where we focus on elder care, and by that I mean we deliver on health needs, activities for daily living, and nutrition for the deprived elderly within our society. We are located along USIU Road. We chose that place because it is brilliant, serene, conducive environment for such activities. And it is a pleasure to be in Chungu cha Jamii program. Thank you.
Welcome, Jack. I'm so privileged to host you, the both of you, with great insights that you're going to shed more light on our topic today of neglecting the elderly. We are seeking to find solution on what to do with the elderly, how to help them, how to have a good society that embraces the old as they are aging, as you've said, aging gracefully, that they are happy even in their last days rather than being grieved. So welcome so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
So as we talk about neglecting our elderly, why have we find ourselves in this position of the elderly being neglected? Mr. Jack, maybe start by you. Given that you've said the position of your organization, it's a serene place for such activities. What prompted you to start thinking of the elderly?
Well, as I had mentioned earlier on before we got on air, there are problems with our society. And there is a big problem with elderly. The reason is because the population for the elderly people in Kenya now is increasing rapidly. And now it appears that more efforts and more resources are needed to cater for that emerging population. Why is it so? It's because the systems of the government that we have, both the national and the county governments, they are still working on the old ways of doing business. In this regard, that the population of the people who are aging are increasing in our society. So we saw that gap, we saw that need, and we thought of setting a center where people can come outside their residence or their habitations, where they can get a fresh kind of experience, and they can get inspired, and they can become rejuvenated, if I may say so. Yes, please.
Thank you so much for
Yeah.
that. Mr. Elijah,
Yes,
you
please.
also have an organization of elderly aging with dignity. That's my punchline from your introduction.
Yes.
What prompted you for you to think about the elderly and how they are aging, and how your organization is helping them to age with dignity?
Thank you. One, we are all human beings created as social animals. Our older people happen to be layering us in a population of like maybe 9 children, 5 children at the early stage. And as we age, majority of our young people, they normally go for greener pastures, either in the cities or even abroad. When they go there, it takes them time to come back to the parents. But even, I can take you back to when we were in school. When we were in school, we were given midterm all the time, and the perception was that we are developing homesick. Little did we learn about those people who are in house or in homes and they are not in school. What do they develop? As a result, I mean, when older people are left alone in the houses and we are all grown up and we want to go for greener pastures, we leave them alone, they develop isolation, loneliness, and this can accumulate to diseases. That is number one. So I found that we need to have social places for our older people, and that brought me to having a center, day center, where older people come together and they share their experiences. This is a case where I found majority of older people, even in the houses, they may speak with the cats, pets, because they are lonely. How do we address this challenge as a country? Looking at our systems of the government, they major more on young people because they are energetic, they can work and maybe produce more than the older people, and therefore they tend to have forgotten the population of older people, which is also very important because it has wisdom, it has our, can I say, our heritage. We should carry our people together. And I always think, as we now implement the Vision 2030, whose clarion call is to leave no one behind, this is the right time to address those challenges of neglecting and isolating our older people in the society. Yes.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for the insight and for stepping forward for great initiatives looking after our elderly. So I'd like to know, when you step forward to take care of the elderly, Mr. Jack, you've mentioned about nutrition and well-being. I'd like to know, in your organization, is it a place where you gather around the elderly? I mean, a center where they're just coming in the morning and in the evening they're back to their family members, now the children, their grandchildren? Or is it an institution whereby these elderly stay in the facility and they are taken care of and they have activities to keep them active during the day, to keep their mind away from thinking of maybe or isolating themselves?
Well, first I'll come in as a believer who has been commanded by the Bible to take care of our parents. And now I have elderly parents back at home. So I can relate the experience they go through with what I'm currently doing here. Because personally, I was not born and raised in Nairobi. I was raised far away deep in the village. Far away deep in the village. I remember those days I would ask for someone to bring me a tarmac because I never knew what a tarmac is. whatever we call in English, rami. I would hear people that there are roads made of tarmac, and I was wondering, what does a tarmac look like? And now if I can connect that, because in our family we are 7, and no one of us who lives in the village, you can feel and you can experience it, how many calls that our parents would either call you, and the cause, not for urgency or emergency, you, behind it, you find it is hopelessness and isolation and loneliness, as Mr. Elijah said. So this prompted us to do that. And that does not come with the loneliness and isolation. It leads to other what we call lifestyle diseases. Mm-hmm. And some of them are depression. And Mr. Elijah would agree with me, it is common because he has covered a broad group of people. Mm-hmm. Back to your question, we minister to over 200 people directly and others indirectly. Whatever we have in our register is 200. And what we do in our center is they come twice a week for a meal, for a social activity, and for an economic activity. Although they are not that energetic as we are or as they were back then, they still have some energy left in their brains and with their hands. So they can do some handwork. So that keeps them activity. That keeps them active. Okay? Mm-hmm. And that process of doing it weekly then gives them hope of having an assignment next week, next week, next week, next week, next week. So it gives them a focus as they used to be before. So that's why they come from where they come from, the village, and then to come to our center and have those activities. So majorly 3. One social, the other one we do some economic activities, and the other one we do some health check. Yes.
Thank you so much. Mr. Elijah, in your organization, could you help us to understand more the same of when you've come together with these elderly people and you're helping them and educating them to be happy, not to be isolated, to come out and be able even to talk to you, share with you their problems. Is it, your organization, is it a place like the home of the elderly, or it's an organization where they just come in, talk, socialize, make friends, because even them want to make friends and socialize and be happy?
It's a daycare center where they come every day. And when they come, first in the morning, we have to have a prayer session. Number 2, we have to exchange, sharing as to how have you been. Did you have meal? Did you have tea? All this. Then from there, we are able to pick from there, and we offer breakfast, we offer lunch when we have resources. It depends on the availability. If we don't have, it is also a good place for them to exchange, to share their experiences, and also do a lot of health aging practices. This I mean, we do a lot of body exercises. They sing, they jump, they do anything that goes well with their health, but all depends on age-friendly activities. When they are together, you'll find some of them, they want to plant flowers, they want to go to till land and plant foods. We have small spaces for them to do this. We also have a project for chicken layering. You'll find some of them, they are active there to make them feel they belong. As they do that, we come in as the office to train them on advocacy, how they can claim their rights, and also inform them on the issues that the government is trying to address for the older persons. Through this, we have been able to even identify those who are not registered with the National Hospital Insurance Fund And there are those who are on cash transfer and they are covered by the National Hospital Insurance Fund, but they are not aware. We become an avenue for them to have information from the government reaching them on the ground. Many older people, they are isolated to the fact that even those good things that the government is doing, they are not aware. A good example is that the ministry did well to register them with the cash transfer and also the National Hospital Insurance Fund, but dissemination of the information to cascade to the grassroots people, it is lacking in the government. And therefore, our organization becomes a tool to deliver the information. In the center, we have trained people, older people to even move to the offices where they get the services and question as to how much service they are given. A good example, like now in our health centers, where you find older people, they go there, they are screened, sometimes they are referred to go and buy medicines from chemists. We have trained activists of older people, people who can monitor their services ordered to the older people, and they can sit with the doctors or the nurses, and they raise their concerns. So that is what we are doing. We are not limited to Dagoretti. We have many other groups from outside the country, from other counties. We are in 18 counties so far. Karika is an organization passing the information to the older people. Our aim is to have a national voice for older people, and therefore we work with the Minister of Labor, Minister of Health, all those relevant ministries. We look at how they are serving our older people.
Oh,
Yes.
Thank you so much. So, Mr. Jack,
Yes, please.
Given that your place, you've said the elderly come in twice a week,
Yep.
full of activities and also get to feed them, what are some of the activities that you engage them into, the economical and the social activities? What do you engage them with? And also, for one to be part of your organization, what is it that you look at?
Well, I want to start by saying the modernization or the fast-moving world has changed everything. And you would be surprised that the elderlies in urban areas are having the same problems with elderlies with rural areas. Because you find that the children who are brought up by the elderlies in the urban areas are moved to other faraway cities. So they are left alone. Just like the people who are brought up in the rural areas have they have immigrated to urban areas, and then they are left there. So that gap of loneliness is becoming huge and huge every day, all right? And there is a need to merge it. Now, coming to the question that you asked, one of the social problems that we have is that gap between the children and the elderlies. It is becoming wider and wider and wider as days goes by. So when they come there, we don't require much out of them, apart from the basic information, where you're coming from, what you do, what is your life, what were you doing before, were you a civil servant, were you working as a coffee farmer, or were you working in a plantation, how many children do you have? So we collected the data first, so that we can be able to know what kind of social problem you have as per that. How many children do you have? Where are they? What do they do? Do you connect? Do you interact with them? Do you engage? And you'll be surprised that one of the major problems is family conflict among the parents, the elderly parents, and their siblings. And that one is solved by what we have volunteers, accredited dispute resolution volunteers who are around to check such cases. So you come in, we register you, we know you, we take details, we have a stock of who you are first, not just come in as an elderly. And then the others will come with health issues, which is either underlying or a long term, which have no support system. And then we see how that one can be supported by the available resources within the organization. Not from any donor or anyone. We major on well-wishers, friends, volunteers, to chip in when that need arises. So those are the areas that we cover. Yes.
Thank you so much for the insight, because I'm learning that this is a matter that we take in lightly.
Yep.
We don't think that they are affected. Before we went on air, Mr. Elijah, you were telling me of when you're buying a gift, we don't ask. And I was asking myself, what is the essence of the gift then? Because it's supposed to be a surprise. So if I ask you, which color of jacket do you like? Automatically, you'll start thinking and planning, well, I'll be receiving a jacket soon. So that is why we don't ask.
Not really, but sometimes, yeah. You know, we should first go to our Minister of Education, and especially higher education, and look at the curriculum. How are we bringing up our children? Does the curriculum carry with us the aging system with it? So that when we are aging, we understand the challenges of an aging person.
Could you hold on that thought?
Okay.
Because I want us to take a short break so that when we come back, you'll give us more insight about the education system and how we should learn about taking care of the elderly.
Thank you.
Viewers, I hope you're learning as much as I am. I hope you're taking notes of the kind of things that these two organizations look for, what you're supposed to look out for, as in, when you're taking care of the elderly, what is making us, our generation, drift apart from our parents, our grandparents? What is it that we're supposed to do for us to merge in together and to work together as one, as a family, as a society, as friends, as neighbors? We'll take a breather and continue sending in your questions across all our social media networks. That's GPS TV Africa. Our SMS line is 2144.